What's up, y'all? Hec Martinez. I'm back. Let me do another installment into like the whole music series. This time we're gonna break into I guess the spiritual power behind hip hop. Let's just get into how music is in general. Like I told you before, like it connects us to a different zone, but hip hop is especially special because of the whole elemental part of it. All you guys members for SK.com will see the connection. SK just did a video on elementals, and you will now see how the 4 elements can relate to hip hop's 5 elements. And here's how it's connected. You got the the elements earth, wind, fire, and water. Okay, it's funny, that's actually a soul group called Earth, Wind, and Fire, but we'll get into that later when we get into the sampling. Now, you can relate the 4 elements or the 5 elements of hip hop to the 4 elements. So what are 5 elements of hip hop? You got DJing, you got b-boying, you got MCing, graffiti, and overstanding. Okay? So boom. Let's get into what the most typical thing you can see. Earth. How is the earth related to one of the elements of hip hop? DJ. Alright? See how the earth is what we stand on, what we control, our rhythm, our movements. If the earth shake, what do? We shake too. So that's how the DJing part is related to. The actual controlling. Understand, DJing is not just getting on the radio and introducing a record. The DJing in its truest element was getting on those turntables and actually creating the beat with the music given to you on the turntables. Kool Herc, when he first started, used to create his own beats from the records that he had from back in the day. And those were also older soul records also. So that, again, we'll get into that later. That's something else. Alright? So cool. DJing controls your movement, controls the rhythm, controls the music. Even DJing now, when Fun Master is on there, puts his music on, you're bopping your head, you're controlling your feet, you're dancing. That's controlling your rhythm. That's the earth element. Then we have the fire element. Alright, that's graffiti. Everybody's saying, how the hell got graffiti? Understand the power of fire and heat. Fire and heat actually emblazings things. When something gets burned, it leaves a black mark. If you something touches your skin, that's fire, it leaves a scar. Now, graffiti is in the same way. It may not be such a heat, but the emblazoning of the marking of the symbols. When you take a spray can and you cover something up, it's the same way as a fire darkening something or leaving an emblazed image on a blank canvas. So it also, in a creative form, how fire can take sand and make glass. The same way graffiti can sit there and make an old dirty wall into a work of art. So fire's ability to change and shape is also related to the same way graffiti does, in a sense of in a spray can. Simple as that. Also another way of fire too, no matter where you at, if you're dealing with fire, you feel the heat. Like, it's not something you play with. If you turn the solar on, you feel the heat. Same way paint, it can get all over you the same way too. So there's a causality in both together that makes those elements join. Alright, our next one. We have wind. Now, wind is related to MCing. The spoken word. As I'm talking now, if you put your hand in front of my face, you feel the wind come out. The same way with wind, you could be inside a house and hear the wind howling, but not feel it on you. It's the same way the music. A car rolls by, music is loud enough, guess what? You feel that too, right? And sometimes even, though if an MC rolls, it feels like it moves you. It gives you a different bop, similar to the way the beat does in DJing, same way the wind will move you also. And then finally, b-boying. Water. Alright? How do you get that? The whole fluid in your moments. Like if you get into b-boying, it's very fluid, very flowy. There's no real structure to it. Of course, b-boys may say, what am I talking about? Because the structure, the way they learn it, true. But the way things are put together, it's fluid. It's the body. Remember, the body is 60% water also. So the fluid in the movement of the body is right there related to the water element. Now, everybody's saying with the extra element in hip-hop, overstanding. Okay? Now, the overstanding is taking all these elements and using them together. That's the spiritual magic alchemy of it. That's the overstanding of what hip-hop is in that 5th element. That connects it all. That connects both sides. So you have 4 and 4 over here, 5's in the middle, brings everything together. Okay? Now, into the understanding of hip hop is also how you get into the sampling. Sampling is another area of where you have a spiritual power of hip hop. Everybody said, what are you talking about? Some people say sampling is just copying an old record and using it for your own. But there's a creativity to it. Let's talk about why I said Earth, Wind, and Fire. And also, you take an Earth, Wind, and Fire song and chop it up and make it a hip hop beat, you have a hit automatically. Where does that come from? That comes from, that's just not copying somebody's style. Because it's not just laying down a record and doing what they did. It's channeling their instrumental and put it into a new form. That in turn gives it power. You know, actually all music is like this if you think about it. If you think about learning the guitar, everybody learns the same chord progressions going up, right? And how does that relate to anything? What that's saying to you is the same chord progressions you learning guitar, it's the same thing a great person did who mastered the guitar. So then you're having a connection to the greats. So all music kind of flows that way. And that's how music continues to evolve. Because as you learn the same thing, you build on the same knowledge that they're building on. So, back to sampling hip-hop. The sampling, or even the use of an old record to create a new one, gives an invocation of that person into your work and gives it a new power. You can take over now into a song like by Jay-Z and Kanye, Otis, where Kanye actually takes Otis Redding's voice and creates a beat out of it. Somebody, a 6-year-old hears it and just loves it and doesn't even realize why. Because you're taking the energy of Otis Redding and placing it into a vessel where Jay-Z and Kanye will now rap over. And that in turn creates a new energy, a new system, or can I say a new creation, you know, something brand new like you've never heard it before. You can even look at, staying with the whole Jay-Z Kanye thing, Jay-Z's probably two of Jay-Z's most classic albums, American Gangster and The Blueprint. And you could say those things are heavily based on sounds from the 70s, where you could kind of say, coming off the solidarity of the black community and the energy of that community was probably at the strongest. Now you then take that and put it with the actually monetary basis of where the community is now, which Jay-Z is actually representative of, and you get a new creation. Look at The Blueprint, songs like The Takeover, and then H to the Izzo, which is a sample taken from Michael Jackson's Jackson 5's I Want You Back, ABC, excuse me. And then you got, like I said, Takeover was taken from The Doors. You know, things like that. It creates something new. You may have idiotic rappers like Cameron who will take something like Oh Boy, an old sample, and that created a whole new genre where you heard songs for 2 years that just copied that style because the sampling gave it a new energy, a new creation, something for somebody else to build up on, you know? And it's not just a sample in the sense of, if you take the names of greats and just mention somebody's name, you also take that person's energy and put it into your music. You take The Game's first album. I mean, The Game's a good rapper, but the first album, he was naming greats out of the wazoo, from Biggie to Eazy-E to even Jay-Z and the current Dr. Dre. And it made that album turn to something else, even greater beyond the skill that he actually possessed. Because if you look at everything else, it wasn't really that great. But that first album, because it invoked so much energy from the past and for the greatness, it boasted it to make his level of skill kind of higher than what it is and make the music into something else. So, pretty much look at the elements of hip-hop and sampling and the invocation and channeling other people's words, you get a powerful unit. That's why you get this little startup sound created in the goddamn Bronx of all places. Now it kind of takes over the world and everybody loves it. So, that's it. Till next time, peace.